Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Today I got another awesome watch for you. And this is by Spinnaker, another Dartmouth brand. I've been reviewing Spinnaker and Dartmouth brands now for, I don't know, probably about a year now. I believe it's been about that long. And I'm just impressed with their releases. Spinnaker is a brand that I've always had my eye on, even before I started working with them. They're just a great micro-brand company, and they make watches that, to me, they really make watches that kind of like are, I guess, the definition of micro-brand. You know, they're watches that you're getting exceptional quality, which is, you know, can be said for many, many thousands of brands out there. But you're getting that quality, you're getting pretty competitive price points. Again, value is subjective. It's totally up to each individual to decide what they really like and how much they want to spend on a product. But I like that, you know, that they make these creations that they're not following suit with the same old, you know, homage watches to your Omegas, your, you know, your, we see a lot of the Royal Oaks out there by a lot of different brands that pop up. And your classic Submariners, right? Although, don't get me wrong, I don't know how many of those I have. I like them, I still enjoy wearing them, and there's a reason why they're so popular. Obviously, I like them myself. But I like when brands kind of do things a little bit outside, not necessarily, you know, we're not going way outside the box here, but just kind of do their own thing. I look forward to seeing more Spinnaker watches, and I hope Spinnaker starts to really kind of, I'd like to see more vintage style, you know. There's brands like Pantor, which make that real vintage style case. I really like those old dated dive watches, you know. And this one here is a perfect example of really doing their own thing and making a watch that to me has a very dated, like very old school dive watch. So this one here is a, I believe, a re-release, and this is, man, let me just scroll up a little bit because I'm going to read to you about this here. They're pretty proud of this one here, and I get it. When I saw it, I was like, I gotta get one. So this is the Piccard. So check this out. We'll hit you with the side shot right off the bat. So big, beefy, chunky, very unique looking watch, and I think iconic to that old vintage deep diver. You know, when you look for like micro brand, like deep dive watches, you always have these huge crystal, right, designed to take withstand the depths. Now, I'm not gonna say this watch is designed to do that. You know, and when I'm, you know, when we look at watches like, for instance, here, the Rolex Mariana Trench Deep Sea, right, or the what's it, Deep Sea Dweller, I think it's called. That watch was designed to go down to the Mariana Trench and really to withstand those super deep depths. And so a watch like that's going to have the really big, thick crystal, just like when you look at like the Invicta Hydromax, super big, thick, chunky watch. That's the extreme side, right? With this, I like that they did this big, huge domed crystal. Very unique, very cool looking. It just is. It just has that old vintage, just hardcore, thick, beefy dive watch, right? So let me just, I'll just show you guys a couple close-ups here, and I'll throw a couple pictures up here during the video so you can see this watch a little bit more. Very cool. Let me read you the specs, and I'm going to come back and show you some close-ups. Let me just hold it off to the side for now. All right, so specifications on this. So for those folks who like to check the boxes when it comes to what they purchase, we have that movement of the Japanese NH35, a time-tested, trusted movement. I'm not going to say how it's referred to as. You know, when they refer to the horse, I hate that terminology. I hate that description of it, but it's true. It is a reliable, robust movement. You're not going to have to worry about that automatic movement, right? We do have 316 stainless steel, nice solid construction, simple in design, nothing really over the top, just basic. I don't want to say that this is sort of like a Submariner style bracelet or oyster bracelet. It's not, you know, let's face it, an oyster bracelet is not really all that unique. We have 3 links, right? So, I mean, really, like, what makes it an oyster bracelet? It's just a same old bracelet you find in many watches. I don't believe Rolex was the first one to do it. They're not going to be the last, but it's your classic 3-link bracelet, right? We have a milled clasp with the plastic still on it. For those folks who, you know, really like the way the watch looks when it's open, you know, is it better than a stamped clasp? Not really. It's still just as functional, but it definitely has a more refined, more finished look. I prefer it, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Lug to lug, we have 52 millimeters. This is a big watch. 45 millimeter case diameter. So again, not over the top. You know, I think anytime that you get into, I like to call 50 oversized, but you know, for some folks it is subjective. Some folks are going to consider this an oversized watch, but 45, I think, It's still very wearable. They all are, really. We have a screw-down crown. As far as water resistance, we do have a pretty darn good depth rating, 550 meters. When I look at the back of the watch, we have what appears to be a PX-15. I believe that's some sort of a submarine of some sort. It is a sapphire domed crystal, which is, I think, really the highlight of this watch. Awesome creation. 22 millimeter stainless steel bracelet. Again, milled clasp, unidirectional rotating bezel. It says here with black ceramic plate. So I believe that's the insert they mean. They say it's a black ceramic insert. So, I mean, that's great. Ceramic's very durable, very robust. And case thickness 21. That does include the crystal. That's a tank of a watch. This watch definitely has an awesome wrist presence. You know, with the world of watches we have out there, everybody creating, not everybody, I don't want to overgeneralize, but so many companies making the same old redundant designs and style. I love that they did this. You don't see a lot of brands doing stuff like this. So let me read to you here, and then we'll throw on the wrist here. I'm not going to read you about the movement, you know about that. Clarity and legibility, I think it's just as legible as any other watch out there. You're getting a little bit of a light ring reflection there, but you know, the crystal does sort of have like a magnifying effect. You do have a date window, which is a little bit hard to see because it's off to the side. But again, it's still legible. The reflection is going to be the killer on this. If you have a lot of reflection like I do coming from these windows, it's hard to make out the date, of course. But who cares, right? What's interesting is the lume on this appears to be pretty good, but they didn't mention the lume. Already, right now in this environment, most of the watches I review with inferior lume, when you cup your hand just slightly, you can't see it glowing. This is glowing already, so I don't really know what lume this has, and if they do mention, I'll read it to you, but it seems like it's pretty decent lume. And here we go. It says here, applied indexes with rich Swiss Super Luminova. So that's good. It has a lollipop second hand gliding across the dial face. So you can see that lollipop second hand. Hopefully we're getting a lot of reflection here, so I apologize. But again, like I said, click the links, check out the high resolution pictures. We do have a helium release valve that is notated on the upper portion of the inner bezel ring, we'll call it. I don't know if I'm using the proper terminology. See the engraving on the back. And the helium release valve's off to the side. Just an awesome watch. When they re-released this, I believe they came out this a while back and then they re-released it. I had to get my hands on it. That bubble crystal is awesome. So let me just see what it says here. It says a marvel of vintage styling fused. Let me throw this bad boy on real quick here. I've been wearing this last couple of days. I love it. Marvel of vintage styling fused with the rigor of modern day watchmaking. The Piccard is reestablishing a new aesthetic in dive watch design. With unmistakable bold presence, it still holds the wrist comfortably and offers readability and function while truly being a standout watch in any collection. Perfect said. Totally agree. Look at that bad boy on the wrist. Very cool. Definitely one that's going to get noticed, and you know, it's so much fun compared to your standard just classic. Again, not knocking on them. The Submariner style watches, the Omegas, great. They're nice, wonderful. Everyone and their brother has one. Everyone and their brother makes one. You know, these companies make them too, don't get me wrong, I have tons of them, I love them, but this is the stuff that really gets me excited when it comes to reviewing watches. Stuff like this. I love that vintage diver look. Absolutely love it. Did I tell you I love it? All right, so as far as anything else it says here, it just talks about, you know, they're just kind of giving you a little sales pitch. It says that the crystal is crafted out of solid sapphire crystal. That's kind of like the main feature of the Piccard. I absolutely agree with that. That's about it, really. You have a couple customer reviews on here. Looks like 19 reviews. I encourage you to read those as well. Don't just take my word for it. As far as the color options, now I did choose the black, which is always a classic. But the other one I kind of was on the fence about was the blue. It's called the dark cerulean. Sorry. But it's blue. I just wish they'd call it blue. Then we have, I think there's another color choice here. I thought maybe there's only two color choices here. We have the blue, we have the black. Let me just click, just so you guys, because you guys may not like, you know, Piccard. May not like blue and black. Thought they had a green. Yeah, Hunter Green. So, price point on these, $409 USD. You want to take advantage of the Fat Cat Collections exclusive coupon. That link is in the description. Make sure you enter the code. The link is great, but you won't get the coupon. It's not like the coupon code gives you, sorry, it's not like the link gives you the coupon discount. You have to manually enter it in. So make sure you do that. Check it out. Looks like the green, surprisingly, is sold out. So you have the black and the blue, which is surprising because usually black and blue are the most popular colors. For some reason, the green just is calling folks. So check them out. So let's see what it looks like on the wrist, then I'll show you the box. I have a 7-inch wrist. I weigh about 182 pounds, and this is what it looks like on a guy my size, my weight, and of course, or my wrist size and my weight, and I'm about 5'8". So you can get an idea. 45 millimeter, beautiful wrist presence. Look at the side. That's the best shot right there. I mean, what a great watch for your collection. You know, and when we look at watches like this, and I'll Google it in a second here, when I think of this vintage dive style, it's really hard to find watches that are affordable like this. I mean, you may not, no, it is subjective. You may find 400 not affordable. I think really for what you're getting, that's a pretty good vintage deep diver. Let's see what we got here. I'll give you guys an example here of what I'm referring to, what this reminds me of. When we look at brands like here, I'm seeing one here. And some of these watches can be kind of like one-off sometimes, where they're like, you know, I don't want to use the word like super micro brand, but watches like this are, you know, maybe they only make limited. Like this one here is very cool. If you check out, let me see. So this is actually an older Rolex. I'm not familiar with this particular one. It's a 1960C special. Huge bubble crystal on it. Very cool. I'd almost kind of refer to this as almost like, not a homage because they're totally different watches, but that big crystal is very cool. Even though it's a Rolex, I still think it's really cool. When you look at other brands like, let me see if I can find another one here. The Rolex keeps popping up here. Let's see, Deep Diver Bubble Crystal. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, surprisingly, I'm not finding. You know, I've been looking at watches for like my whole life, and I always seem to find these watches, but now I can't seem to find. So what I encourage you to do is just kind of like maybe go to Google and to get an idea of what I'm talking about. Go to Google and take a look at, you know, just search for like micro brand deep diver, 3,000, you know, the 3,000 feet, something like that, where you're gonna find a lot of these watches I'm referring to, and they just have the huge, big, thick crystal. So very cool looking watch. Definitely one for the collection. I encourage you to check it out. And also what I really enjoy, folks, is when you guys see these videos, let me know what you guys think. I really enjoy when you guys drop the comments and talk about other brands. I learn more, and I hope that these videos help you learn more. And at least, if anything, to discover brands. You know, I'm not a watch expert. I'm not here to tell you why one watch is better than another. What I'm here to do is to share my passion for collecting watches and maybe turn you guys onto something that you may see and say, ooh, I never knew that existed. Let me check it out. And that happens every single day. People watch my channel, and you know, I encourage you to share that journey with me. It's as a watch collector, I definitely enjoy other folks talking about watches, and that's real community. You know what I mean? No matter what you like, whether it's Rolex, whether it's Omega, whether it's Invicta, whatever you like. If you're respectful to one another and you appreciate, you know, if you really like watch collecting, then you appreciate all watches, whether they're your taste or not. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Drop a comment. If you do subscribe, though, and you'd be a fool not to, make sure you click the little bell to let you know whenever I upload a new video. Currently, I'm uploading on Saturdays with the occasional midweek Wednesday upload. So anyway, guys, have a great day. Take care.